Hey travelers, Mag and I here on day 168 of our trip around the United States. Last night, when we made our way out of Hot Springs, it became apparent pretty quickly that if we pushed much farther outside of town, we were gonna have a hard time finding a place to bed down for the night. So we only made it one more county beyond there, got to the rest stop area, and we decided that was where we were gonna call it a night. The good part of that is we didn't end up geocaching through the dark at all. We got up with the sun this morning and we started into our miles for the day, and we're pretty much right on time with where we want to be. Right now we're starting here on the banks of the Cossatot River. Today's route has us covering 330 miles. From here we're going to make our way directly west out of the state and back into the very southeast corner of Oklahoma. There we're going to finish the last counties and pages in that tiny tip of southern Oklahoma before we cross back into Texarkana and begin to make our way east along the southern border of Arkansas. Our day is going to come to an end when we reach Monticello. I have no expectation we'll get to Monticello with any daylight on our side, but with a little luck, we'll come a county or two shy like we did last night and be able to get pretty close before the light fails us for the day. I know that today is going to be a lot of this. A lot of greenery, a lot of landscape, a lot of rivers. We have some lakes along the way. I'm not expecting to do a whole lot in the cities. When we get to the big cities like Texarkana, we only have a couple of targets and then we skip right through and we're back out in it again, which is exactly where I want to be, because Arkansas is the natural state. This is the kind of stuff you want to see out here. So let's see what today has in store. Come on, let's go.
Aichan and I managed to get our morning started before the sunrise, enjoying a quick pass through Glenwood before stopping in the Caddo Gap. With a population of only around 40, Caddo Gap does not have much going on, but there was exactly one geocache for us to find here, which allowed us to count the county. After having a look through the toys in the geocache, we made our way along the Cossatot River into the Cossatot River State Park Natural Area. In general, this area has very few geocaches to choose from, so each find is important to ensure we can count the county and the page before we continue our westward trek toward Oklahoma. This ammo can provided a fantastic excuse to take a walk in the woods and get Aichan her morning exercise before we really started into our miles for the day.
Every time I think things can't get weirder, they do. So we found ourselves a payphone booth, which of course we've seen plenty of them moving through Oklahoma, but I'm sure I've never seen a payphone in the middle of a cemetery before. And if that wasn't weird enough, they actually converted this payphone so that now the booth hosts a bathroom mirror. So like, good time to brush your teeth and do your hair up a little bit. This is just all kinds of weird for me.
I almost didn't want to believe that the geocache could be hidden inside of this mirror, but sure enough, there it was, just waiting for us to add our ink to the log.
And in case you're wondering why I reached so weirdly for that geocache, there's a big spiderweb right here. I would hate to home wreck this guy, so we'll just go around him and let him be.
The biggest reason that we stopped early last night was because there is not a whole heck of a lot out here on the western side of Arkansas, and there is at least one county where all of our targets were in cemeteries. Pushing on any further into the night would have left us sitting outside of a cemetery, waiting till sunlight, with no good place to bed down for the night. We were much better off waiting it out as we had. Making our way steadily east through Arkansas on the way to Oklahoma, we stopped into the town of DeQueen to visit the Sevier County Museum. Although we eventually discovered that the geocache hidden here could be found from within the parking area, the very misleading hint makes it seem as if you need to explore the museum grounds to make the find. Not that we minded in the least though. Finding the museum grounds open, we were very happy to take a tour through this replica village with authentically furnished 1940s houses. Each structure offered its own unique look into the past of the area. Dropping into the nearby museum, you can learn about the community that started over 10,000 years ago as the Caddo Indians settled in this area. The history will carry you through more modern times with many artifacts, including old newspaper records for the DeQueen Bee, the town's oldest and longest consistently running business. There are also many other exhibits to explore here as well, including a mock classroom from the old schoolhouse, military veteran stories, sports memorabilia, and a room dedicated to country singer Colin Ray. I'm used to cemetery hides being the norm for Texas, but I was surprised to find that so many of our targets today were in cemeteries here in Arkansas. Perhaps it's just that Texas influence pushing a little north across the border, but in either case, each of the walks in the cemetery gave me a good chance to get Aichan out of the car to help me make the find. Crossing into Oklahoma, our last trip into Oklahoma for this year, we found ourselves in the city of Idabel with a population of around 7,000 people. In addition to crossing off the last county and pages needed in this part of Oklahoma, we also had one more opportunity to figure out what confused Clark Kent.
All it takes is just a quick trip back into Oklahoma, cross the line from Arkansas, and we are back to confusing Clark Kent. I particularly like this ground zero though, because not only is there this little beauty here, but just a few feet away, there's this little beauty right here too. You get 2 payphones for the price of 1, but no need to check either one of them because, as with so many others, I doubt I'll be making a call from this bad boy anytime soon.
Running the state corners here between Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas provided us an opportunity to knock out several counties and pages in rapid succession by crossing back and forth across the borders. And while we were successful in making the finds we needed to count each of these counties and pages, things began to go wrong immediately after we found this geocache just across the border into Texas. Aichan, did you feel the car begin to shake like that?
Just blew a tire. And this thing actually seems to have blown. It is hot as can be around the edges here. So I'm gonna work on getting this changed out to a donut. I'll limp my way back to a tire shop and get this fixed. I imagine by the time that's all done, daylight will be kaput for the day. And voila, like magic. We are running on a donut and we're ready to limp our way back into the nearest tire shop, which I'm thinking from here is Texarkana. Either way, that is definitely the next stop on this itinerary.
Finally having reached Texas, with speed limits of 75 miles an hour, we found ourselves crawling at an even 50 to keep things nice and smooth on the donut. We also stopped for just a couple more finds along the way into Texarkana, finding this ammo can to be rather unique. But our next stop showed exactly where it had come from. Chances are, if I lived down the street from a surplus store like this, I'd be hiding a lot of rather large ammo cans myself.
You gotta take the bad things and turn them into good things. Now, I've got all 4 new tires on my car, and they're all much better prepared for snow like we encountered in Dalhart. And we were in and out of here like half an hour flat, so many thanks to the boys at Discount Tire for getting us set up and back on the road.
To be perfectly honest, I was certain that the blowout had spelled the end to our day, but I was surprised to find we still had a little bit of sunlight to work with, pushing our way out of Texarkana back into Arkansas along our route. We were able to put a couple more county finds under our belt and even stop off to visit one last Veterans Memorial before the sun set down on another day. Very happy to have made it this far.
And just like that, another day of geocaching out here on the road comes to an abrupt end. We did not make it as far as I would have liked to make it today, but considering that I had a blown out tire and I had to limp in to get it replaced, I don't think we did too bad. We're about 4 counties shy of the goal line right now, which is a little more than 100 miles, bird miles, from Monticello. There's absolutely no chance we're making that tonight. We'll push forward, maybe another county or 2. We'll come to a stop, and then tomorrow we'll pick up whatever miles we didn't cover today, and we'll make up the difference. For me, today is a reinforcement of the planning concepts that I live by. What I consider the key to a good plan is flexibility. You can build the best plans in the world, but if you don't have some wiggle room to the left or to the right to deal with things as they change, your plan is going to fall apart the first time you encounter difficulties. The other thing that I think is really funny about how today turned out is I was already planning to change my tires out in about 2 weeks now. So for my tire to blow today, all it did was accelerate something I already had on my planning timeline anyway. I figured if I was already in there getting one tire changed out and I'd already encountered snow conditions once, it was time to upgrade those tires. Brand new tires, ready for the snow, and I am ready to go. Thank you guys for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed this brief tour through the southwest corner of Arkansas, the southeast corner of Oklahoma, and just that teeny tiny little bit of Texas that we saw before things went downhill quickly. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.